Hey guys, happy Friday. So I told you on Schoology yesterday that I tried to keep today's work a little bit light, just in case you needed some more time to finish the review that you were working on yesterday. So the review from yesterday, the chapter 4, part 2 review, make sure you have that both pages finished and bring them with you to school on Monday. No, not Monday. We don't have school Monday. Tuesday. So bring them Tuesday. We'll go over that stuff in person. Make sure you don't have any questions. And we'll probably quiz that same day if we have a chance to. So then after that, we'll be starting chapter 5, which is rational numbers. So it's going to be a lot of fractions and operations with fractions and equations with fractions, that type of thing. So I thought 5-1 is easy enough that I figured we could do that today on a virtual day, and that way it wouldn't, if you were still finishing up from yesterday, it wouldn't be anything like huge. Plus, technically, I guess you have the weekend. So really, as long as you have these things done by like the next time I see you, we should be okay. So the next section is writing fractions as decimals. And this is probably something you already know how to do. So, a couple of different things happen when you turn a fraction into a decimal. You'll notice that they tell you here that you can either do this by hand, right? And actually like use long division to divide 3 by 8. But there's really no reason to do it that way because you pretty much always have access to a calculator. So to change a fraction to a decimal, you're just dividing. 3 divided by 8, right? And so 3 divided by 8 equals 0.375, which is called a terminating decimal, right? Because it ends or it terminates. So some of the fractions that you will change will be terminating decimals, and that's easy enough. However, they won't always be terminating decimals. So you'll sometimes have decimals that repeat, right? Like 2/3. You likely already know what 2/3 is as a decimal, but again, I would not do this longhand or long division. You can, but on the calculator, you're going to get 0.6666666 repeating, right? So this is called a repeating decimal. And you know what that is, but sometimes the bar notation throws people off. So you can use bar notation to indicate that a digit or a group of digits repeats, right? So rather than putting a bunch of 6s, I'll just use the bar to show that the 6 is what repeats. So whatever it is that repeats, that's what you put the bar over, right? So like in these examples, if 13 is what's repeating, I really only need to write 13 once, but make sure I put the bar over 13, not just the 1, not just the 3, over the whole 13. In the second one, there's an 8 and then a 5 repeating, right? So notice they only have the bar over the 5 because that's the part that repeats. And then in the last one, what's repeating is 7, 2, 4. So the bar is over top of the 7, 2, 4, right? So that's what I mean when it says use bar notation to show a repeating decimal. It means that you're showing which part of the decimal repeats by putting the bar over top. So some of the fractions that you'll change will be terminating. Others will be repeating. I don't think you'll have any, that are non-terminating. Sometimes you'll have one that just like seems like it goes on. It doesn't necessarily follow a pattern. And I'm pretty sure none of those are on your practice. And we would just call that a non-terminating decimal. But like I said, I don't think you'll have any of those on your practice. So the other thing you'll have to do is write mixed numbers as decimals, right? So just keep in mind that a mixed number is just a whole number and a fraction, right? So the whole number, you don't really need to do anything with that because the whole number 3 is just 3, right? So focus on the fraction. So 3.5. So anytime there's a whole number, it's just going to go in front of the decimal point. And then focus, and these fractions actually you would probably already know. So 2.25, 4.75. So there will be some mixed numbers on the sheet. You'll have to convert those also. And then the last thing will be comparing. So they recommend here when you do this, it's easier usually if they're written as decimals. So to compare 3/5 and 75 hundredths, I already know that 3/5 is 0.6, right? So then I would know that 75 hundredths is bigger. So some of those you will maybe know. I'm looking at the fractions now. Some you might have to convert to a decimal in order to be able to compare them. So the practice is on Schoology. It's an assessment, like versus a OneDrive document. So I think, at least I'm looking at the rest of these, I think these should be okay to enter as, although you know what, that might be a pain with bar notation. I'll have to think about that. So if it is on Schoology, like an assessment, I'll make sure I tell you how to enter it with bar notation. So I'll have to think about if I'm going to do a OneDrive or an assessment. But either way, you'll have fractions to change. I'm sorry, decimals to change to fractions. I said that backwards. I'm not going to edit this. So fractions to change to decimals. And then you'll have to compare some. So take some time to get that done. Hopefully today, if you're running short on time, use a little bit of the weekend if you need to. And then just make sure you bring me your review on Tuesday, and we'll go over it then. Okay, have a great weekend. See you guys.